I thought you were going to start the episode.
Oh no, I thought you were doing it so I could start the pitching part.
Oh no, I'll start.
That's my bad. That's my bad. We'll start. We'll use that.
Sounds good. All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Down the Line. We've got a packed show this week. A lot to talk about. Albert Pujols got released. The Yankees and Mets both had good weekends. Dodgers are in a slide that I don't think anyone could have foreseen, but there's one topic that we have to open with. It's why I'm opening the show. I need to ask Rob about it. You guys all know Rob's been on the year of the pitcher for months now with the balls being dejuiced. We have shirts for this show. Mine's in the wash, so otherwise I would have worn it. They literally say year of the pitcher. And Rob wasn't just right. He's been actually spot on. We're not correct a lot on this show. Rob has been dead on this one. There's already been 4 no-hitters. That's not including Madison Bumgarner's 7-inning no-hitter. The pitcher is absolutely dominating this year. Offense numbers are all down. I'm pretty sure this was the only time since 1917 that there's been 4 no-hitters at this point in the season, which is absolutely ridiculous. The tuxedos seem a little fucked up now. The year of the pitcher thing was cool. When you have Wade Miley throwing a no-hitter, you have 2 no-hitters in a week. It's just a little much. So, Rob, what's your take on it? Did you time travel? How did you know that it was going to be this extreme?
Well, I had a hunch. I felt like there was something with the balls. It was something with pitchers coming back really healthy, I felt like, for the most part. And, they came off a 60-game season last year where they didn't throw that much. Usually when guys have time to work on a lot of new pitches, when think about all the guys that have new pitches this year that you really didn't see beforehand. Glass now with the slider, Chapman with the splitter. There's another guy in the Corbin Burns, that added that really just disgusting cutter. He was really good last year, but I mean, it's just so much better. Like there are all these different examples of guys just like having all this downtime, being like, let me just learn a new pitch. And obviously these guys are so talented that it's going to be really good at some point. So it's just a combination of a bunch of different things. And the year of the pitcher has been awesome. Obviously, like you said, 4 no-hitters. But that, last week, Wade Miley throwing a no-hitter didn't sit right with me. It was kind of like the no-hitters seemed a little fucked up now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, it was awesome. And then, you get Wade Miley, who has look, anyone can throw a no-hitter. It's baseball. It's kind of like that football any given Sunday. Anything can happen. But this guy's got a 4.18 ERA in a month, or I guess month and a week, where everyone is kind of just tossing gems. Something's a little up. And it kind of reminds me when Brett Gardner started hitting 25 home runs and everyone's like, what's going on here? I think the balls are a little juiced. This guy has averaged 13 home runs for his entire career. And all of a sudden he's almost a 30 home run guy. It's kind of I feel like they've gone so far both ways now with juicing the balls and now dejuicing the balls, that it's you're making Wade Miley look like Randy Johnson right now. And that can't happen. All due respect, he's a major league pitcher, but what is this guy doing throwing no hitters? His stuff wasn't even that good. And you even look at a situation like Andrew Heaney with the Angels. He was throwing, I think he struck out the first 10 guys of his game. And he was throwing 94 miles an hour. It wasn't he was gassing guys up. It wasn't he was Nolan Ryan. He wasn't even hitting that good of spots. He was changing speeds and everything. He was throwing well, but to strike out the first 9 or 10 guys of the game, what the hell is going on? This is almost way too far over now, where year of the pitcher seems a little fucked up now.
Yeah. And I think too, you look at the guys who threw the no-hitters, right? I mean, Joe Musgrove, that didn't surprise me at all. That was the first one I remember, we said on the show.
He was filthy that game too. Yeah.
We were watching it with the bar. He's got disgusting stuff. He was the main piece of a Garrett Cole trade, 4 or 5 years ago. It shouldn't surprise anyone. He may not be a household name yet, but it shouldn't surprise anyone that Joe Musgrove on a good night could throw a no-hitter. Carlos Rodon started to be a little bit surprising, but he's a guy with great stuff that hasn't really put it together. So even that didn't
having a good year too. Yeah,
exactly. Really didn't set off my radar. Once we got in the same weekend, the Mad Bum 7-inning where it's all right, he's Madison Bumgarner, he's a legend, but J Happ taking a no-hitter 7 1/3. It's look, I know that J Happ has kind of reinvented himself with the Twins. I guess he gets to grow out the beard, not be a pussy anymore, whatever. J Happ does not have no-hit stuff. He shouldn't be no-hitting a team into the 7th inning. And now you get Wade Miley, who's a nice pitcher, career nice pitcher, not no-hit stuff. John Means, I actually think is a stud. I'm not trying to lump him in with, I think another guy who isn't a household name, but should be, probably will be. When, no offense to him, he gets traded out of Baltimore to a contender. I think John Means will become a household name. But you just look at these guys, and it's just not – it's not adding up. I do think it's kind of come to a head where maybe the juice balls were – a little bit covering up, even though, like you said, Brett Gardner shouldn't be hitting 28 home runs at his age 35, 36 year, right? So they knew they had to do something, which I agreed. I don't think I want the balls juiced that much, but it's come to the other extreme where you don't have juice balls and you have everyone hitting for launch angle. The philosophy that strikeouts don't matter at all, essentially. It's just made for, I don't want to say unwatchable. I still love watching baseball, but it's made for a diminished product. It is. There's less balls in play. There's less runs being scored. I don't know what your take on it is. I love baseball. I'm not anywhere near the point where I would stop watching it, but this is a diminished brand of baseball. It's just not as entertaining.
No, yeah. And look, I think I'm in a unique demographic where I love watching good pitching, like a good pitching battle. Like I go to the park, like I want to see like a good pitching matchup. Like that is actually like exciting to me, seeing a guy strike out 10, 12 guys. But it's like you said, it's gotten too far. Like Gleyber Torres just hit his first home run of the season. Like that was a guy who hit 38 one year. Like, why is it so like here to here? And I don't think that that's on Gleyber. I think a lot of that might have to do with them just fucking around with the baseballs and not really caring about the product on the field. Because I honestly think that Manfred is spitballing. He's being like, okay, 5 years, let's try this with the baseballs. Okay, shit, that was too much. Now he's trying it the complete other way, and he knows, okay, this is probably too much now. He's going to bring it back somewhere in the middle, I'm sure. But like, we were, a hit by pitch, a past third strike away from maybe, and what did Musgrove, I think, walked a guy, or he hit a batter.
Musgrove hit him.
That's what, 6 very small situations away from 3 perfect games in April. And the first,
there's been 19. There's 19 been of those ever.
Yeah, like 19 perfect games ever. We almost got 4 in the first month and a week. Like this is a little bit extreme. And I think we kind of works with a transition over to like the way the Dodgers are skidding right now. Their offense, I think they're hitting like 213 as a team. This is like the offense. Everyone's like, okay, they're set. Like they're good to go no matter what. The Yankees came out super slow. The Dodgers came out hot, but now they're kind of, hitting a really bad skid right now. Honestly, one of the worst teams in baseball at the moment. The Mets came out super slow. And it's kind of like, is this Wade Miley no-hitter action connected to this Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, all these other teams? Even the Padres a little bit aren't. Tatis has been unreal, but like kind of past them, like they haven't been as good as we kind of expected them. They're around 500. Is this connected in a way? These no hitters and these offenses coming out or is it just the year of the pitcher? Who knows?
You wondered how transparent was MLB with teams about what they were doing with the ball? Because if these guys came into the season still thinking, all right, juice balls, launch angle, like Gleyber Torres, you could see like I know he just hit his first home run. He's actually been a lot better the past couple weeks because he's started to rein in his swing and not swing for the fences and be more of the line drive hitter he was when he came up in 2018, because he knows that's what he's better as. I saw, Mike Trout, the monster start he's on, he's actually decreased his launch angle this year. Like, so a lot of these guys, I think they're kind of realizing with the dead end balls, the launch angle is not going to work as well. So, and I just think when you look at it too, all those teams you named, like it's not just a handful of teams. Not like, the Dodgers and Yankees are off to slow starts. It's literally everyone. If you look at it in terms of OPS, the Red Sox are first right now with almost an identical OPS that they had in 2020. And I believe they were maybe 9th in baseball. Yeah. Then the number 2 and 3 teams in baseball right now with their OPS, I think it's the Astros, and I want to say maybe the Padres, would be below league average in terms of 2020. So this isn't a gradual thing. This isn't, compare 2021 to 2015, 2010. This is comparing 2021 to 2020. This is a drastic, immediate change. I'm kind of hoping that teams start to maybe figure it out. And this is just kind of a 6-week period where they're just seeing what works and they haven't really caught up yet. Like I said, Glaber, I think, has caught up. Even a guy like Giancarlo Stanton, we've seen a lot better 2-strike adjustments from him, but he'll get his power numbers just because he's a freak of a human being, and the extra, 5 to 10 feet with the dead end balls does not affect a guy that big and strong. But it's just bizarre to watch. I mean, the Dodgers are 3-9 in this stretch in games started by Bauer, Buehler, and Clayton Kershaw. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, that can't happen. Yeah. I was trying to find the actual number too. But I heard it on MLB Network. I was trying to find it somewhere in an article to confirm it because it seemed ridiculous to me. And this is almost the reverse of the year of the pitcher. But their bullpen has blown 9 saves over the course of this like horrible skid that they're on. And it's like that, like, yeah, sure, you're losing games where like your aces should be winning. I guess to a degree that happens. I mean, it happens to Jacob deGrom every single week. But like blowing 9 saves, like that's bad. But that almost makes me feel better about the Dodgers kid because that's an outlier. That will not happen again. Like they're not going to blow 9 saves. That's almost like Edwin Diaz pace, and that was historically bad. I don't think your entire bullpen can do that over the course of an entire season. I think that even if that stat was a little wrong, which I was trying to confirm that because I heard it. I still don't think that pace is possible to keep up.
Their bullpen is very injured right now, is it not? Are they not without Jansen? I know they're without Corey Knebel. I don't know how the fuck you say his name. And then Blake Trinan's hurt as well, right? Or is he?
Yeah, and then obviously they lost Dustin May, so they had to take Price out of the pen. So like, I mean, that was huge. I mean, I know they've been dealing with a lot of COVID issues too. But losing like May, dealing with all that, the combination of their hitting just kind of disappearing and, their pitching just not pitching up to par, just makes for, guess what, bad baseball, like, believe it or not. And like, even I guess it's reassuring as Yankee fans to be like, okay, it happened to us. It can happen to the Dodgers too. So it kind of brings everyone back down to earth a little bit as fans.
Yeah, and here's the thing. They're still the best team in baseball in my eyes. Like we said, no power rankings until June. I saw them. I tagged you in the tweet. I glanced at I didn't click the article. I glanced at it. I saw what the top 2 was. I was like, yep, no power rankings. If you want to take the power rankings on May 7th to mean that it's going to be a Red Sox Giants World Series, then have at it. But I just can't. I think that's been the weird thing too, is that every single team has started poorly that's been good. Like honestly, I would say the Giants have greatly outperformed expectations and been a good team. And
the Royals fell back a good amount this week.
Royals just came back, and the Red Sox, yes, no one had them starting 22-13. What I say, they've been consistently good. The Red Sox, you're looking at the team, they were swept by the Orioles to start the season. They lost 3 out of 4 to a bad Texas Rangers team, and
they had a bad series against the Tigers too.
So they dropped the middle game against the Tigers, and then I don't want to get into they almost dropped a series because like they won the series 2 out of 3, but they gave up 9 runs in the last game to a Tigers, like a bad Tigers lineup. Like, it's just, so I don't know. I'm not ready to. It is May, whatever the fuck day it is, May 9th today, so it doesn't matter. It's coming out May 10th, I guess. So it doesn't matter, but it's just bizarre to see. Nobody has gotten off to a good start. People have started well relative to expectations, but of the good teams, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Braves, the Mets, yes, some of them are doing better than others. None of them have had good starts. I would venture to say they've all had bad starts.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you expect them to be kind of where the Red Sox are in like that 22-13 in that 5 to 8 games over 500 mark. Obviously the Red Sox a little more than that, but like you kind of expect them to come out and just, perform over a certain stretch. And no one has really done that with any consistency. So obviously kudos to the Red Sox for actually doing that. But I feel like we expected the Red Sox offense to be what it is. Maybe not so far and away above the rest of the MLB, but I mean, I expected JD Martinez to have a bounce back year the way he's having. I didn't think Devers. When we did our keeper video, like I kept Devers because I do think that he's one of the best third basemen in baseball and will continue to be for a while. Xander Bogaerts, ridiculous offensively. So like I wasn't like that surprised. I'm actually a big Verdugo fan too. I do think that was a really good piece that they got in the trade, but like just the rest of the MLB, it just feels weird, and I don't know if it traces back to the balls and like them being, fucked with and all that, whatever you want to call it and what they actually did. But like Anthony DeSclafani shouldn't be throwing, the type of year he's having. Like Kevin Guzman is good. I know Ryan Garcia always says he wants to be a Yankee, but like is he like really this ace guy that is this really who are the best pitchers in baseball right now? Like I don't know. I don't expect it to keep up, but it is just it's making you scratch your head a little bit because it was so different. Like that home run era, it was like, oh, these balls are basically steroids, and now it's kind of like these balls are basically steroids your pitcher. It's almost like Manfred's trying to offset the mistake that he made over the past 5 years with just juicing the balls, and now he's de-juicing them just to kind of give the pitchers a chance to come back.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I'm hoping that it kind of sorts itself out within the next month or so. It seems like maybe certain players are starting to make adjustments. Is it going to be enough? Because like here's where my brain tries to like understand where analytics brains come from, and obviously they hate small sample size, as they should. Are they going to take this 4 to 6 week sample size with the new balls and determine that that's enough to completely abandon their entire way of thinking with launch angle and home runs being the best outcome, which obviously it is, but always going for the home run and, just not really caring about strike guys? Because I don't know, because you would think that they would hope to adjust it a little bit if you see, a guy like Gleyber Torres, who, he's not going to hit 38 this year. He's only going to hit 20, so he shouldn't swing for it every time. I don't know. So I think we'll know a lot more at this point next month than we know now, but it's just been a bizarre start, because as weird as it was initially, at least the Dodgers were 13-2 and that made sense.
Yeah,
now the Dodgers have lost 15 of 19. Nothing makes sense.
Yeah. Speaking of bizarre, we got to talk about this Mets Raccoon also winning 5 in a row and Jacob deGrom going on the injured list situation. I mean, everyone was always like, it's the Wilpons, but I think it's just the Mets, right? I mean, I hate to say it, literally, I feel like every single week. I said it in the offseason too, like the Mets are the Mets, and they just continue to do things that are just like, what? Like your franchise star, your golden boy, one of the key pieces of the offseason is now like has the whole New York media being like, wait, dude, what did you say? So what happened was there was a ground ball up the middle. I believe it was in the 7th inning of a game last week that the Lindor actually came up clutch. Lindor cuts off McNeil. He makes a play. Lindor then the next inning hits a home run, gets pumped in the dugout, and then him and McNeil have an altercation in the dugout, and the rest of the team runs over, and they eventually go back out to the field, but no one really knows what happens because the cameras didn't see it because it was in the dugout. After the game, Francisco Lindor says that it was because him and McNeil were debating over a rat in the dugout was potentially a New York rat, which Lindor said he hadn't seen yet. I'm calling bullshit on that too, that he hadn't seen a New York rat yet. But it was whether it was a rat or a raccoon that was just rolling around in the clubhouse. I mean, Nick, what are your thoughts on that? Because I mean, I hate talking about this because it's just ridiculous. But I mean, it's news. It's news and it's weird. So go. What do you got?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was kind of funny, to be honest with you. I mean, I think Lindor knew when he was saying it that he was just kind of fucking around. Like, there's no way he actually thought he would get away with that excuse. Maybe in Cleveland, but definitely not in New York. But no, listen, they won the game. Both those guys came up clutch. They both had a good weekend. The Mets won. What matters is they won games, and you can bullshit all you want, talk about rats and raccoons. If you said that after a loss, I'd be ripping into them, but they won, so it doesn't really matter. And I did see the media was pretty upset with that rationale, as if they really deserved to know. And I saw someone responded. It was like the New York media cares more about this story than they did Jed Lowry, who they just let go like for 2 years, no one knowing honestly if he was alive or anything. Same Jacoby Ellsbury, same thing. So I don't know. What's your take on it? Because it was weird. I thought nothing more than it was funny. It's something where the fans would have a problem with it if they lost, but they didn't. They won. So
yeah, I mean, I kind of love it to a degree. It's weird. It's Mets. It's kind of like what are we doing here type thing. But I like Lindor's direction with it. I mean, I don't know if it was executed properly with this whole rat raccoon thing, because obviously how do you mistake a rat and a raccoon? Like, I feel like one clearly has stripes, but regardless, I kind of like the vibe of what happens in the clubhouse stays in the clubhouse. And, what's between us as teammates is going to stay between us as teammates. It didn't hurt the team. Clearly, they wound up winning. They are on a winning streak. Lindor hitting a little bit better. McNeil also hitting a lot better recently. And it kind of seems like whatever they did, whatever they hashed out as teammates, stay between them. And that's how it is. And I think Lindor kind of being like, yo, well, what if I made this the headline instead of them being like, ooh, what happened between you two? And then all the headlines are, oh, are McNeil and Lindor the problem with the Mets? Let's say they lost the next game. Are McNeil and Lindor the problem with the Mets? Does McNeil need to go? Was Lindor contract an issue? Dealing with all this other BS that could have potentially come from an altercation. He went with a little tongue-in-cheek bullshit headline that is now like, look about this. We're talking about this a week later, instead of being like, does Jeff McNeil need to be traded out of New York because Francisco Lindor doesn't like him? I kind of like how, again, it was kind of a stupid thing to do, but kind of taking control back at the headline and being like, this is our clubhouse. It's staying in the clubhouse. It's our team, and we're winning now. So shut up. Don't worry about it. Go have fun with this stupid headline over here.
No, I agree. And I think stuff like that happens all the time, right? Shortstop and a second baseman, both competitors getting into it over a play. Clearly they got over it. They won the game. So it doesn't matter. I think the media do you really need to hear the explanation? Like, oh, we had a disagreement and we worked it out. Like, you really need to hear the PR bullshit response. Like, if anything, this whole scenario makes your jobs way easier in terms of the story you're going to write. But this wasn't the only noteworthy thing to happen in the Mets this weekend. I want your take on this. We haven't talked about it. Jacob deGrom was placed on the 10-day IL today with, I don't know what the official, did they say it was side soreness or back?
I know why he took him out, but I don't know why they officially, because they also saying back tightness. So I'm not sure what he actually went with.
I know they've been saying both, but to throw him on the IL, like, absolutely the right move. Like, as much fun as I like to poke at the Mets, baseball is better when the Mets are good. Baseball is better when Jacob deGrom is pitching, the best pitcher in the game. I love Garrett Cole. Jacob deGrom is just the best pitcher in baseball right now. It is what it is. Hopefully he only misses a start or two, gets right, and is able to pitch the rest of the season for the Mets. Where kind of the weird thing comes in was he got scratched from his start, which I believe was originally supposed to be Thursday. It was either Wednesday or Thursday before no, you know what? His start was supposed to be Tuesday because he was scratched as I was going to the Yankee game. So he was scratched on Tuesday, started Sunday, was taken out of the game Sunday, but on Friday they had him at shortstop, which he does. I know you tweeted the picture out when you were at Citizens Bank, but he wasn't just shagging ground balls. He was like jumping up for them. I know Carton posted a picture and people were kind of coming after him. Do you take issue with that? I think that's a bad look, to be honest with you, when a guy gets scratched from a start in between his next start is jumping up for balls. I know he's a good athlete. He was a shortstop in college, but wouldn't you want a guy nursing an injury to kind of be taking it easy going into his next start? And again, I wouldn't mention this if not for the fact he couldn't finish his start yesterday and now he's on the IL. So what's your take on that?
My guess is I've heard that actually surprisingly a lot of athletes have actually, I don't want to speculate. It just kind of what it seems like is that athletes have been having vaccine side effects. They've been having a lot of pain in the side. So that's my guess, is that it was something like that related in terms of the first one, because side pain, like over, like, I'm guessing like by like the oblique, somewhere around that area, and back tightness doesn't exactly line up. I've actually had both injuries. It doesn't really correlate exactly. But then I'm sure he felt better, wanted to just go have fun, enjoy baseball. I'm honestly fine with that. I don't mind pitchers taking being a part of BP. I would obviously rather them in the outfield where they can just kind of just shag fly balls, just, take a few, just enjoy the game itself. I don't think if you're taking ground balls, especially if he gets a bad hop, gets one in the nose, now he's out. It's kind of like when I think Scherzer took like a bunt to the eye during batting practice. Like I protect your assets to a degree, put him in the outfield. But I think that he probably was doing recovery to a sort. And he just overworked himself because he wanted to go. He probably was on the bench for a few days, recovering from whatever side this was. I don't want to say it was the vaccine, but like maybe it was something related or just had just a pain there. It happens just when you're overworking yourself. And then he got back out there and probably strained something. And, it is what it is. I'm not going to be like, I feel like Jacob deGrom has earned that freedom to do what he wants. But I don't know. I'm not gonna say I have a problem with it because I want my guys to have fun. Like if I'm like a coach in that situation, go have fun with it. Have fun with the game. If you're gonna start like putting mandates on what they can do during batting practice and all that stuff, unless they're starting the next day and they have like a bullpen scheduled, recovery scheduled, long toss scheduled, something like that. If they kind of have a free day, go let them have fun with the game. If it winds up resulting in something like this, it is what it is. It's not like it's an elbow injury. It's not like he can't come back in 10 days. They're being overly cautious with him. I'm sure he's probably pissed about going on the IL for something like this. So I'm okay with it. I agree with them being overly cautious too. And it's Jacob deGrom. Let him miss his next start and maybe the one after that until he feels like he's 100% ready to go again.
Yeah, no, and listen, I don't have a problem with pitchers doing their thing, in warmups. Like I said, I know deGrom's a great athlete. He was a shortstop his entire life before senior year of college. Mariano Rivera used to take fly balls because he came up as an outfielder, and that was just part of his cardio routine. He would take fly balls. Obviously, he had the ugly ACL incident in 2012, but it was a freak injury. You can't say, the 0.01% time that happens. I guess my whole thing is just if it was my best pitcher and he just got scratched from a start, I would kind of want him taking it easy, because to me, what going about your normal routine like that says to me is, oh, I'm good, I'm healthy, which he might have thought that he was. And you kind of can't put it on him. But if you're the Mets, you can't let that happen and then let it lead to a scenario where he's clearly in pain on Sunday again. Paul, all I'm saying is I think it's a bad visual. I'm glad he's fine. Yeah. I know it's nothing major. I just know if this was a Yankee, I would not be happy. And I've seen them mishandle literally dozens of injuries the past 3 years. So I'm not trying to, throw stones. I'm in a glass house. Like, I get it. Like, we've been horrible at this. That's why maybe that's why I'm a little more sensitive to it from my perspective. It's like, if you got a guy that missed his start and he's trying to make his start 2 days later, maybe tell him to take it easy in between.
Yeah, Nick, I'll be on your side entirely if this winds up being like, oh, like he's out for 10 days, he's missing a start, we're just being overly cautious. And then it turns into like a situation with Judge where it's like, oh, he's probably going to miss 3 months. And it's like, wait, what? Like, no. Like, you didn't, no. That's not what you said. Like, that's like, now it's a problem because now you guys weren't managing whatever injury it was properly. Like if deGrom's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to go walk around, take batting practice, hang out for a little bit, like hang out in the field with my teammates. We're going to build a bond together. Cause that honestly is where like the best parts are made, during batting practice. You hang around, you're playing baseball for fun. You know what I mean? Well, guys, you just get crank homers, it's fun. Past that, like, I don't know. I'll be on board if it becomes a bigger injury, but I think right now it's okay.
Yeah, and hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully in 10 days it's all a moot point, and we're just saying thank God he's back.
Yeah. So moving on, we got that Yankees 7-2 homestand. We got a big series against the Rays. I think this is kind of where we feel we can test if they're all the way back. Nick, what are you thinking about the past weekend and the games coming up?
Yeah, 7-2 homestand, pretty much exactly what you draw up. Tigers, worst team in baseball coming in, had to sweep that series. They did. Astros series taking 2 out of 3. It sucks to drop the Cole game. A lot of people were ripping into Boone for taking out Cole there, but he had just given up another home run the inning prior. He's at 97 pitches. Cole even had a quote post game saying it was kind of like playing chess out there. That's a good Astros lineup. It's the best lineup he's faced. I think it's still one of the best lineups in all of baseball. So I think, Cole made the point and Boone made the point the next day on the Fan that it's not necessarily always the number of the pitch count. Sometimes it's the high stress pitches. And I think, that was stressful. So I didn't hate within a 1-run game going to Chad Green, who's been absolutely locked down. It wasn't his day, is what it is. I think people like to Monday morning quarterback it and blame Aaron Boone because he's not my favorite either. But in this case, I didn't.
You go to wrong.
Yeah, but obviously they won the first 2 games. I was there Tuesday. Place was it was the loudest I've ever heard a regular season game, even though it was only a little under 11,000 people. I've never heard it that loud except for the playoffs. So that was unbelievable. They win the first 2, standing on a roll. The weekend series Friday, Tyone was good, and then I honestly wasn't even watching, thank God, because Judge, DJ, Glaber all make errors in 1 inning, and the bullpen blows up. Loizaga has been so good all year. How mad am I going to get at him for 1 inning where the defense didn't help him out? I was there again Saturday. Max Scherzer is unbelievable. If he's available, I will trade anything for him. He is disgusting. It was cool seeing like a Hall of Famer pitch in person. MVP of the weekend, though, Brad Hand. I mean, a ninth inning comeback on Saturday and then ninth inning to win the game on Sunday. Really encouraging to see. Aaron Hicks has been a lot better over this homestand, which I didn't think I would say. I was completely done with him after that Baltimore series. He's been good. Glaber's been good. Stan's come back down to earth a little bit, still gets the walk-off hit. Overall, I don't think you could have asked for a better homestand. Every single starting pitcher put them in a position to win. You know, you're a couple blemishes from the bullpen and one bad inning of defense away from an undefeated homestand, you know? So you really can't complain about this team right now.
Yeah, Nick, and you're right. Like, I think you want to actually tweet it. Like, the games that we lost were like where our best bullpen guys kind of blew it to a degree, you know, and it happens. They were due for a bad outing. Guess what? Most pitchers aren't going to pitch to a point. I think Loizaga was at like a 0.89 ERA. Like, if you're expecting that out of him, Chad Green, Chapman all season, if Britton when he comes back, like you're going to be very disappointed. It's not going to happen. They're going to give up runs. It wasn't even a bad pitch. Altuve honestly hit a good ball. It was at his eyes. It wasn't a bad pitch. It was a Chad Green fastball. He locates his fastball. That's his thing. And Altuve hit it. You tip the cap. He's a good hitter.
It was a bad outing for Chad Green because he walked. Kyle Tucker kept walking on Thursday, which is like the one critique I have of the Yankees pitching staff. They seem to have a knack for walking guys towards the bottom of the order, but they are league best in walks allowed. They've walked the least guys. So how much can you really complain? But that was the first Chad Green fastball above the strike zone that's ever been hit out for a home run. So, I mean,
I'm not going to be like, oh, you threw a meatball. It's not like Chapman with Altuve when he hit the home run in the playoffs. Exactly. It wasn't a really good pitch. He hit it. It happened. Yeah. He was guessing fastball and he guessed right.
Altuve, and as much as we all hate Jose Altuve, he's a good hitter. Like he had a bad series. I thought the booze would get to him. Maybe it took until his last at bat of the series to really get over it and kind of stick it back to us. But it is what it is. People were angry at Chad Green. People will be like, "Oh, Chad Green always gives up the home run in the big situations." Like, yeah, he's a high leverage reliever. He's pitching in the 8th and 9th inning. You're not going to go to him in a 5-0 game. Like every home run Chad Green gives up will be a big home run. Like,
yes, when he does it, and you're going to be mad at him, and then you're going to be in love with him when he goes 8 straight scoreless outings.
Exactly.
So it's checks and balances. I think that's a government.
I'm all for being reactionary. I mean, I had Aaron Hicks on my Yankees to send to the Sun list like a week ago, and I'm here sitting here praising him for his great week this week. But like Chad Green is like, if you had a list of guys that you just really should not be angry with this season and have bought themselves enough stock over
all time, for the past
where you can live with one bad inning, it's Chad Green.
Yeah. Loizaga, you almost don't want to see because he was going so good. You're almost like, okay, don't touch him. Like just keep letting him do his thing. I don't want anything to rattle him. I think he'll bounce back though, and obviously, be continually successful. His stuff is too good now, and he feels
he had a blow up inning, and his ERA is like still under 3. So like A, reliever ERA is pretty volatile, and B, like that's still an awesome ERA. So
I'm not going to worry about it too much. I am excited to see how they make out against the Rays. It's been their kryptonite over the past 2-3 seasons, I guess, give or take. Obviously in the playoffs and the regular season too, this season as well. It is kind of like we kind of feel like the Yankees are coming back into what we kind of want them to be. So I think them having a good series. Look, I'm not asking for a lot. I'm not asking for, honestly, like if they don't win the series, it happens. But I want them to like play well and not be like, oh, like this is embarrassing again. Like when Jay Bruce was around and it was just like, oh my God, this is embarrassing to watch. This is unwatchable baseball. I want them to play good games against the Rays. Obviously I want them to win, but like, let's see you put up a fight against a team that's been your kryptonite for a long time.
Yeah. I think they need 2 out of 3. I really do. Everything I just said about the team and the homestand, obviously the Tigers series, you had to sweep it. But then you take 2 out of 3 from what I think is still a really good Astros team and a Nationals team that, isn't necessarily great, but their lineup is, definitely not full of slouches. You're talking about Juan Soto, Kyle Schwarber, Josh Bell, even guys, if they haven't had good seasons, they're still good players. And you steal a Scherzer game on Saturday. That's all great. If you get swept or lose 2 out of 3 to the Rays, none of that matters. You know, you have Cole in the middle game. That's a game you need to get. You need to. They're 4-3 in Garrett Cole starts. They need to be better with that. They're most likely going to have Luke Voigt and Gio Urshela back starting on Tuesday, so this lineup should have a lot less holes than we've seen at points throughout these past couple weeks. Aaron Judge just had 2 days off. Hopefully get his head right. You need to take 2 out of these 3 games and show the Rays that you're the better team. They seem to talk about it a lot. Since the start of 2020, they haven't shown them they're the better team. So this is a series where they really need to get it right, win it. You know, all these guys need to come through and contribute, because they'll be halfway done with the Rays at the end of the series, you know? So I know they're a division opponent. You play them 19 times. You're 1-5. Take 2 out of 3, right the ship. Otherwise, I'm going to be right back into the dark place I was in 10 days ago.
All right, so maybe we need the Yankees to actually say 2 out of 3. We cannot have you back there.
No.
Speaking of someone who's in a dark place, actually, probably Albert Pujols. I mean, he got released from the Angels. You know, it's a damn shame, but I do think that it's the right move. You know, the Angels we've shit on the Angels a lot for not winning in the Mike Trout, now the Shohei Ohtani, now the Anthony Rendon era. You know, you got all these guys in the lineup. And it's kind of like, we're like, okay, you got to win. It's embarrassing that you've been so bad with all these players. And, you know, holding on to Albert Pujols and sitting Jared Walsh was not part of that winning formula. So I get that they had to do it. It's just a shame that if he doesn't, you know, get another chance at baseball, it would be really sucky to see him not get, you know, at least his tip of the cap. But I do think that even if he doesn't play through the summer, that the Cardinals will sign him for like a week in September just to give him his final curtain call. So I don't know if he's going to play baseball legitly again, but I do think that he'll get another chance to step on the field and get his curtain call.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously sucks, but like I thought some people took it way too far. Like people were being like, how could the Angels do this? Like, this is probably the smartest move the Angels have made in forever. They're still paying the guy. You have Ohtani at DH every day. You're not taking him out of the lineup. Jared Walsh has been raking at the first base. You're not taking him out of the lineup. What's more embarrassing, him sitting on the bench or, you know, getting released and maybe having a chance to catch on somewhere? And people are acting like, oh, if he stayed and played a couple days a week with the Angels, like, let's be honest, Albert Pujols' storybook ending has already been pretty much ruined. I mean, maybe if anything, this increases his chance if he catches on somewhere like with the Cardinals and can have a couple moments in front of the St. Louis fans. We're going to be collectively as baseball fans trying to forget the Angels era of Albert Pujols. It just has not been the same. I think part of it is probably because he's at least 3 years older than what he's listed as. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Like, the guy is at least 44 right now. So that would make sense why he started to drop off, you know, in his mid to late 30s, because they were probably really his early 40s. So, you know, I don't know. I think people were going a little bit too far with it. You know, like, it would be a little bit different if it was like Derek Jeter, where, yeah, he was terrible in his last season, but at least it was all with one team. Albert Pujols, the last 10 years of his career have been forgettable. So the storybook ending was already gone. I do hope he catches on in St. Louis. It would be great. I saw someone suggest like the Rockies, since they have nothing going on, just let him try and launch balls at Coors Field. But at the same time, it's like, are the Rockies really going to stunt the growth of potential guys they have coming up to play first base just to let Pujols chase a record? Probably not. So
it's not like he's an effective DH. Like he was batting like 180 and with like, I mean, yeah, cool. He hit 5 home runs in April.
Yeah, people
it's like, it's not worth it. That's why I think he's going to get his week in September with the Cardinals. He'll get his nice curtain call. They'll give him a standing ovation. I'm sure he'll cry or something. Everyone will be like, oh, Albert Pujols is a legend of the game. And that'll be it, because he really shouldn't be playing baseball anymore. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And look, and I don't know what the Cardinals' depth looks like. Obviously, they have Paul Goldschmidt at first base. So if he goes there, he's not playing even close to every day. You know, maybe he gets a start a week and, you know, and pinch hits. But I think that would be kind of cool. You know, give me one moment in St. Louis, one home run, one walk-off, one something from Albert. And I think that's a better ending than you could have ever asked for with him staying on the Angels.
Yeah, even if he was a full-time player, his career probably would have came and gone this year. You know, it would have been like, almost like how Ichiro retired. Like, I feel like Ichiro didn't, yes, he retired in Seattle. That was awesome, but it almost felt like it came and gone because he bounced around so much after that, you know, like he was playing everywhere, and like kind of similar with Griffey. Like, yes, he got the end in Seattle again too, but they bounced around so much. It didn't feel like their career was like really like, you know, it came together at the end. Pujols been with one team, been with the other team, just bring him back to St. Louis, tip the cap, and go home, Albert. That type of thing.
Listen, other than Jeter's storybook ending just for the moment, he was terrible in his last season. Mariano going out dominating and Big Papi going out, still dominating. Not a lot of guys get the storybook ending. Even guys like A-Rod and Griffey went out on less than memorable terms. So Albert Pujols will go down as an all-time great, maybe the best right-handed hitter ever to play baseball. I think he's in the top 5, at least in that conversation. He's going to go down as one of the best players of this generation by far. So people need to relax a little bit. No one's going to be like, oh, damn, but he got released by the Angels. No, they're going to remember the Albert, the 2-time world champion, the 11 years in St. Louis, all that. It's going to be all good.
Yeah. So moving on, final segment. We have our not safe for work. Mine is just a kind of a general across baseball. It was the Mother's Day catcher's gear. It was all pink. Some people hated it. I actually loved it. It was like almost like too much, but it was like enough, or like not like overdone. They knew it was almost like, okay, this is like almost hurts my eyes a little bit because it was very pink, very neon. But like past that, it was kind of like just enough to tip the cap. I liked it. It's my not safe for work because it was almost like I'm going to reverse it. It was my safe for work. Boom.
Okay.
It was so safe for work. It's not safe for work. Boom. Done.
No, I liked it. I don't think I could deal with looking at hot pink catcher's gear like 162 times a season. But for Mother's Day, I definitely liked it a lot. I think they should give these guys more freedom with, their cleats, their catcher's gear, their helmets, the masks, all that stuff. I think it would be cool if they designed it kind of like how hockey goalies do. I know some guys customize it a little bit. I think it would be cool to see more of that. My not safe for work was Sunday Night Baseball last night. Tyler Matzik turns this double play in the 7th inning. I was watching with my brother and we were like, that's cool. But he was like, couldn't he have just like turned like the correct way and made this play? And it's like, probably, but it was very aesthetically pleasing and it worked out. They did turn the double play. It looked clean. So, I don't care. It's like how Clint Frazier, it's like, did he have to dive for that ball? No, but it looks way cooler now that he did. So Tyler Matzik, not safe for work. That was pretty sweet. I think most guys would probably fail epically trying to make it look like that, but you pulled it off. So props to you.
I was going to say he definitely practiced that. He does that enough, like just in like pitchers fielding practice, PFPs for short, that everyone's like, oh, you got to do that in a game one time. That's so cool. And then he just kind of did it. I'm sure like not even thinking because he does it all the time. And it just worked out perfectly. So that was really cool to see. And then he threw a laser to second base. So that was, and then Dansby made a great throw. He got railed by the runner coming in. So that was awesome. It was all around good double.
Yeah, no, very not safe for work all around.
Very not safe for work. All right. I think that's everything though, right?
Yeah, it was a packed one. I mean, there's a lot going on in New York, a lot going on nationally. One of the best players of our generation retires. There's a lot going on.
A lot going on. All right. We will see you guys next week. Another pack show coming up. Go Yanks.
Later, skaters.
Peace.